Andy, what's the update on Soto?
Yeah, he just had a reoccurrence of symptoms in the left calf. We certainly hoped we were behind it and done talking about this, but he felt it pushing off, going to second base there when he was on the bases. At this point, we'll likely get an image tomorrow and try to see where he's at. This has nagged him for a week now, so I know it's frustrating for him, frustrating for us and everybody.
Considering that you are going for an image, is there a concern right now that this could be something that puts him on the IL at some point?
I think anytime you get an image, you're concerned. Concerned enough to go do it. So we'll wait till tomorrow and figure out what we're dealing with.
With Manaea, what stood out to you about his outing tonight?
He was good. He really attacked the zone. He forced them put the ball in play and get hits. They had some ground balls find holes. We made some really nice throws. Carson, in particular, out there in the outfield, did a really nice job. He was efficient, threw the ball really well. Certainly could have gone back out there for the seventh, but felt like he had done his job at that point in time. It was a good outing from Sean. It's a good offensive club.
What is that thought process there where he's kind of right on that borderline, has a good outing? I think it was 84 pitches where you decide, all right, this is enough rather than push it.
Yeah, I think we're coming off an off day. We feel really good about our seventh and eighth inning situations. They've been phenomenal all year. Brooks threw the ball well today. A swinging bunt to start the inning is always tough, and we had a situation if we executed a rundown a little bit quicker, we could have kept them out of the sacrifice fly situation there. He gives up a sac fly to one of the best hitters in the game. So I think Brooks threw the ball well. When you have Brooks and Weave and what they've done, you feel good handing them the ball in a tie game in the seventh inning. And so Sean did his part to do that for us and felt good about those guys.
Just one last one on that rundown. When you say execute it quicker, is that about Brooks maybe not getting rid of the ball as quickly? Is it about Alvarez running him back a little harder? How does that play get executed the way that you want it?
I think we can do that a little bit better in multiple ways. I thought Brooks was flawless in his execution of it. It's one thing to say the catcher should run the guy harder. He's also running in full catching gear after somebody. That's not the easiest thing. As a third baseman, you can close gap a little bit more, get some momentum before the catch and try to speed that up. They did a nice job getting their runners to advance in that situation. So you always want to do it quick and efficient so that doesn't happen.
Peter?
Andy, with Manaea, his fastball usage tonight, was that something where you guys were kind of riding something that was working for him, or was that a particular point of emphasis?
I felt like he was just on the attack all night. They hit some sweepers early and made, I'm sure, him feel like they were sitting on those pitches, left some over kind of the middle early, and was just having a lot of success with the fastball, so just stayed with it for the most of the night.
And then with Sasaki, obviously he's been a bit up and down in his career. Did you see anything particular in him that allowed him to be so sharp?
Yeah, we talked about it before the game. If you chase him beneath the zone, you're going to be in trouble. And we did that a lot. Now, it's one thing to say don't do that. It's another thing to pick up the split finger and see the pitch. And we had a hard time with that tonight, and credit to him. He threw a lot of good strike-to-ball splits and sliders as well, and we found ourselves outside the zone more than we need to. And you frankly don't beat one of the best teams in baseball by scoring 2 runs. It's just really hard to beat them like that. So we got to put more runs on the board and stay within the strike zone.
Tony?
You obviously know Carson Benge as well as anyone. To what extent is the arm strength that he's been showing, something he has developed over the past few years versus innate ability that he had on draft day?
He had that on draft day. Credit to Chris and the group that went out and saw him and plucked him with, I think, the 19th pick. He was a pitcher just like Nolan was. Interesting rotation when you stop and think about those two guys in it together. The arm strength is there, and it's been an asset for us. I do think, to his credit, he's been challenged to get rid of it quicker over the last couple of years, and that is happening. And so now it's strength and speed, and that really plays well in those types of situations.
Tim?
What have you seen from Mter in his last handful of outings?
A lot of really good pitches and paying for a pitch he doesn't want to put in a certain spot. Kind of left that fastball down and into Tucker. paid for it. I thought the cutters in on righties, he absolutely tore them up. The other day, he left a cutter out there for Yelich after throwing a few of them. So he's had a couple pitches that he would want back. Over the course of the year, you keep handing that guy the ball because he keeps attacking guys and keeps executing. And he's had 2 pitches that he paid for. Sometimes you throw pitches in those spots and you get away with them. He has not gotten away with them in those 2 situations.
Steve.
Just one more quick one on Benge. You say he had the strength, obviously, and has gotten better with the release. Has his accuracy improved, or has that been something that naturally was there from the outfield as well?
I think he's always been pretty accurate. The hope is as you continue to make more high-leverage throws, you get more accurate with it. He typically, like the way he is, like high leverage, low leverage doesn't really matter to him, which is like you get the best version of him in all those situations. He doesn't make more of it than it is. So that's a credit to the way he's wired. But he's been pretty accurate since he's had a Mets uniform on.
Sean, a lot of fastballs from you today, more than we generally see. What was the reasoning behind that?
Hopefully put him down. Felt good with it. And, yeah, I mean, got some good results out of it.
So it wasn't something necessarily game plan going in that you thought against this lineup they would be more effective?
No, I mean, if I'm executing pitches, I think we'll have a pretty decent day. And I think from the get-go that was kind of just playing, and we're just executing my fastball.
What'd you think of Benge back there?
That was incredible. 2 plays. I mean, yeah, watching it from my perspective is like one of the coolest things on the baseball field. Watching him show off his arm, just to play for Ohtani at third. The relay, unbelievable. The throw, I mean, that's just good baseball right there. And to watch a young player like that keep his cool and just do cool stuff like that is it's really fun to watch.
I know it all happened relatively quickly, but can you kind of take us back to that entire sequence where Ohtani somehow hooks a pitch that seemed like it was 2 feet out of the zone, and then eventually on the flip side gets thrown out at third?
Yeah, Ohtani's He's a pretty good player. Thought it was a good pitch, and yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. The fact that he even got to the ball, and then he hooked it, I was like, unbelievable. But then he was going to third, and I was like, all right, we got something here. And by the time I actually got behind third, and I'm not the fastest guy, but by the time I turned around, I saw Francisco getting the ball and was like, all right. And then, got the play. And, yeah, it was so I didn't really watch it. I watched him, hook the ball, and unfortunate, and then I started backing up third. So, overall, it was a sick play.
How much do you relish just facing a lineup like that, competing the way you did tonight?
I mean, it's everything we live for. It's the big leagues. You're trying to play against the best, pitch against the best. And obviously, this is one of the best teams in the league. I got a bunch of superstar players, and I would say you're not going to survive long if you don't want to pitch against a team like this. And so I mean, anytime I face these guys, it's always a challenge, and I love that stuff. So they definitely kicked my butt before. So it goes both ways, and just have a lot of respect for them over there, and it's always fun facing a team like that.
Carson, Sean was just essentially saying that he thinks it's one of the coolest things in baseball, watching a guy, especially a young guy, make those kinds of plays in the outfield. What is it like to experience that as the person doing it?
It's pretty cool. It kind of fires me up. It's one of my favorite things to do on a field is throw someone out, especially at home. That makes it even better. But all I was thinking was just throw it as hard as I can and near the plate.
Andy was just saying that you've always had the arm, but he thinks you've gotten much better with your quick release. Is that something that you feel like you've come a long ways on since you first got into the system?
Definitely just working with Gummy out there, my arm was always playing, but getting that transfer time down with him was a big part of getting me better out there.
talked about your throw to home plate, but the Ohtani play in particular. Just what was your vantage point first of that hit and how he got to it, and then when you realized you had an opportunity to potentially have a play on him at third?
Well, I saw it running towards like the wall underneath the padding, and I've already misplayed one of those earlier this year. So like running up on it and then lose it for a second, then it bounces out. So I tried to stay deep on it, and then I saw him not slowing down whenever he was heading into second. So I knew just throw it in, get it to one of them, and they'll get him out at third.
The throw home, I think that was measured at 100 miles an hour on the dot out of your hand. That's I believe the fourth time you've done that this season. I mean, what does that number mean to you? I know what it means to a pitcher, but what does it mean to you as an outfielder?
Not much. As long as those hundreds are on the money, that's all you really care about.
When you settle under that ball, kind of, what's your mindset? What's kind of the biggest key to making a play like that powerful and on the mark?
Just all that was going through my head was get it out quick and as hard as you can. Just look for our big catcher we got back there, and he'll do the rest.
You ever miss pitching, and is this kind of a way to scratch that itch?
No, not really. Maybe a little bit at first, but as I got up here, I realized how hard one of the things is to do. But being able to do both is insane.